Okay, I hope we're recording. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lauren Dwyer, and I'm a Languages Advisor with the Languages and Culture team. And together with my colleague Kristen, we are very excited to walk you through our Arabic resource set for the Modern Languages K-10 syllabus. Today, I acknowledge that I'm presenting from the lands of the Darkinjung people on the Central Coast, and Kristen is presenting from Dharawal land in the Illawarra. This always was and always will be Aboriginal land. We recognise the ongoing custodians of the lands and waterways where we work and live. We pay respect to elders past and present as ongoing teachers of knowledge, songlines and stories. We strive to ensure every Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander learner in New South Wales achieves their potential through education. So let's take a look at what is available as part of this set of Arabic resources and where you can find them. In our resource set for Arabic, we've included a scope and sequence for stages 4 and 5, including a teacher version and a student-friendly scope and sequence infographic, a unit of work with 29 accompanying resources, a student-friendly unit of work infographic, and an assessment task with marking guidelines and a sample response. It's important to note that each of these inclusions are samples and not a directive of what to teach. We've provided each of these elements so that you can see how the syllabus can be applied to stage 4 and 5 Arabic and to support you in your planning and teaching. So you can use these resources in several ways. As they are, you'll find everything you need so you can pick up and teach this unit. This gives you and your students a whole term to experience the syllabus's content and pedagogy. You could also use it as a resource or ideas bank to pick and choose parts to use and adapt to suit your own context. Or you could use it as a means to build your own understanding to support you to create your own programming and resources. We'll show you the thinking behind some of the resources as an example of how to implement the syllabus. So where can you find these resources? They are published on our website, which you can access by visiting our webpage. The address is shown on the screen here, and Kristen will share it in the chat now. Thank you very much, Kristen. So if you click on the Planning, Programming and Assessing Languages 7 to 10 page, and then click on the Arabic tab, this will bring you to our Arabic support. Scroll down to the webpage until you see the Modern Languages K-10 syllabus support for Arabic 2022 heading. And underneath this is where you'll find all of our new support for Arabic. Let's take a look at our stage 4 and 5 Arabic scope and sequences now. So before planning our stage 4 unit of work, we first mapped out a sample scope and sequence for stage 4. It's important to note that our department scope and sequence documents contain more information than what's required by NESAR. We believe that the additional information better supports both you and your students, which is ultimately our goal when we create them. Like all of our resources, please modify them to suit your context. In the scope and sequence table, you will see the term and duration. Our sample units have been designed as 10-week units, so they are a full term of learning. You may adjust these to suit your context and to align with assessment periods at your school. To support reporting, which may or may not fall at the end of term, the units include a range of assessment ideas in the form of mini tasks. The next column is the learning overview column, which provides the unit title and a description of what the students will learn. Next is the outcomes. So the 3 syllabus outcomes are covered in every unit. However, please note that not every content dot point is addressed in every unit. The content dot points all need to be addressed over the course of a stage and are considered essential learning in order for students to meet the outcomes. Next is a column for skills. We've included the communication and language skills for each unit as a guide to student learning throughout the unit. Having them here helps cross-check them quickly with other units across the stages to ensure that you see a growth in skills within and across each stage. Language should be constantly recycled and built upon. And the final column is the assessment column. We've designed an assessment task for each unit of work, ensuring all outcomes are assessed across the stage. We've also demonstrated interrelated tasks that assess more than one outcome. These are samples and not directives. So remember that assessment requirements are school-based decisions, so you may assess individual or multiple outcomes depending on your context. Once again, these documents are not prescriptive. You can absolutely design your scope and sequences differently. We just provide extra information to support teachers. So your way is okay too. So on the screen now, you'll see the topics that we've included as part of our scope and sequences for Stage 4 and Stage 5 Arabic. The highlighted topic on the left is the unit of work that we have fully developed in this set of Arabic resources. We've also created student-facing infographics of the scope and sequences. So as with the unit of work infographics, these can be displayed in your classroom or given to students so that they know the language learning journey that they're going to embark on. You could even include them in school newsletters and subject selection books. These visuals are engaging for students and can build excitement toward their language learning. You can adapt our versions or you can create your own. The editable links to all of these designs on Canva are provided within the resources, and we will post them in the chat now. Thank you, Kristen. And I'll hand it over to you, Kristen.
Okie dokie. I'm just posting that last link. Okay. So now we're going to move on to unpacking our Stage 4 unit of work. When you access our unit of work, you'll notice that it is a very long document. Our units of work are standalone resources. They include everything you need to teach the unit, from teaching and learning activities and student resources to mini tasks and formal summative assessment tasks. The unit of work has a unit description, including timing and what communication and language skills will be covered. Student prior learning is also addressed, so you know our intended expectations of skills students need prior to doing the unit of work. This also means that you know what to pre-teach if you want to pick up and teach this unit. You do not need to use all of the unit. You can use parts of it, take activities from it, and use them in your own context or even with other units of other languages. Timeframes, formative and summative assessment tasks, teaching and learning activities, and reflection and feedback opportunities should be adjusted to suit your context, including the specific strengths and needs of students. Just like the scope and sequences, there's a student-friendly unit of work infographic available for you to use or adapt. Again, this is a good way to provide students with an overview of where they are heading in the unit. The editable link is in the chat now. So when creating this unit of work, one of our main priorities was to ensure all teaching and learning activities were underpinned by explicit teaching pedagogy. This focus aligns with the department's plan for public education. This unit uses a range of strategies to encourage student participation and engagement. Learning is regularly linked to the student's world, encouraging them to make connections and appreciate the relevance of the learning in a meaningful way. Tools such as an online student selector are used to call on students to participate in activities at random, promoting student engagements as students must remain on task and be prepared to respond at any time. Activities with point or prize systems are included to facilitate enjoyment in learning. This unit also includes activities which can be completed outside or involve physical movement to improve student concentration, lessening the cognitive load through combining learning and movement. When crafting this unit of work, we also considered inclusivity. We have endeavoured to ensure that all students are represented in learning. Teaching activities have suggested differentiation strategies to assist teachers in considering how the activities could be adapted to ensure the participation of all of the students. And finally, we know that as language teachers, authentic and relevant listening resources can be hard to find. We've included a number of listening activities with accompanying audio files in this unit of work. Our mini-task progress checkpoints are formative assessment opportunities backward mapped from the end of unit summative task. There are 3 included in our unit after each learning sequence. These support students to identify where they are on their learning journey in relation to meeting the requirements of the summative task. If you find your students need more time to complete the unit, you can also use these mini tasks as summative tasks. Please see our support as flexible, which you can use as is or adapt to your own context. The teaching, learning and assessment activities have been chunked into lesson sequences, each with their own learning intentions and success criteria, as well as the relevant vocabulary and grammatical structures. Sequence learning reflects explicit teaching, whereby students can access prior knowledge to reduce their cognitive load, and paced instruction with modelling and examples to help ease burden on working memory. In this unit, the lesson sequences range from 2 to 4 weeks. Within each learning sequence are our teaching and learning activities, each one aligned to syllabus content dot points and underpinned by explicit teaching pedagogy. You can see these in bold after each activity. In the modern languages context, the outcomes in the syllabus are very broad. The true richness of the syllabus lies in the content dot points. Each time, we've chosen the dot point or dot points which align most strongly to the activity, but there may be others. By aligning these dot points to activities, we're showcasing what the syllabus looks like in the classroom. It also helps you to see the breadth of content covered in each unit. We recommend including and tracking them within and across your units to ensure you cover all of them across the scope of the year. Our unit includes differentiation strategies for students requiring additional support, high potential and gifted students, and students with advanced proficiency in the target language. The strategies are neither exhaustive nor definitive. They are just examples of how we can differentiate activities and tasks to meet the needs of a range of students. This example is how we provide a differentiation for mini task 3, which requires students to participate in a speed chatting style interaction to practice new structures about where they live and what they do at home and in their neighbourhood. Throughout the unit, we've included opportunities for student self-reflection to support students to gain ownership of their own learning, build a deeper understanding of how the language can be applied to the summative task, as well as identify which skills they need to strengthen and where to go for help. Likewise, we have added a checkpoint to remind teachers to reflect on the learning so far and provide an opportunity to consider what adjustments are required. Brain breaks are a feature we have incorporated into the Arabic unit of work. They're used to lessen cognitive load, allow students' concentration capabilities to replenish, and to improve focus and attention. The most effective type of brain breaks are ones which use both sides of the brain. In our unit, we have incorporated brain breaks which are still connected to the learning, but that also incorporate an element of movement, ultimately igniting both sides of the brain. Please take a moment to read through the example on the screen. Exit tickets also appear throughout our units in each chunk of learning. The first exit ticket on the screen is an example of how they can be used as a quick way to check for understanding and provide the teacher with a quick snapshot of the progress students have made that lesson. They usually increase in difficulty as the unit progresses and as the level of language the students are learning increases in complexity. The second exit ticket is an example of how the activity can be differentiated depending on student ability, and we'll just leave you a couple of seconds to read through that too. And then I'll hand it back to you, Lauren.
Thank you, Kristen. So now that we've had a look at the features of the unit of work, we're going to take a deeper dive into look at some of the activities that are included in it. So the teaching and learning activities demonstrate the outcomes in action aligned with outcome dot points from the Modern Languages syllabus. They unpack the pedagogy behind each activity. They contain suggestions for differentiation or variations, and they have a focus on inclusivity for our learners. So, as we've said, this unit of work is designed to pick up and teach. So, we have included a number of PowerPoints to explain key language points and to introduce vocabulary. So, there are separate PowerPoints to introduce any new vocabulary, including sample sentences and comparisons between masculine and feminine forms. Some PowerPoints also include activities to help you practice these structures with your class. These PowerPoints can be downloaded and edited to suit your own context. In this example, you can see the content dot point from the syllabus in bold, aligned to an activity which uses the PowerPoint called Rooms and Features of the House. So you'll also see that the unit of work includes activities that introduce and drill different language structures. There are a variety of tools used to showcase variation in how vocabulary can be introduced and practiced with your class. For example, there are flashcards with accompanying activities, games, and interacting activities. So we know that interacting is a huge focus of the Modern Languages syllabus. It can be challenging to consider how to get students to interact with each other spontaneously in Arabic. The unit includes a range of activities to promote interaction between students in an authentic and relevant way. So some of the interacting activities include information gap activities, a find someone who activity, dialogue prompts and scaffolds, as well as a range of games like One Pen, One Dice, vocabulary games that use flashcards, games using mini whiteboards, and more. So on the screen now, you can see an example of how an interacting activity is described in the unit of work with examples and aligned to content dot points and an outcome. Okay, moving on. So one of the priorities when creating this unit of work was to include listening tasks to help Stage 4 students to develop this skill. We've created resources with a variety of listening activities. Each listening activity includes a transcript and answers. Remember that all of our resources are editable. So if you need to, you can always change the content for your own context and read or record the transcripts yourself. Here you can see an example on the screen now of how a listening activity is described in the unit of work and aligned to content dot points and an outcome. Okay, next to games. So using games in language teaching is a great way to motivate students, a way to provide input as well as extensive practice of language structures. This unit of work includes many games and we have mapped everything out logically for the teacher. So each resource includes an explanation of the game, including the rules and cards or images that you need, and also some ideas for variations and differentiation strategies. Lots of fun to play in class. Finally, some of the teaching and learning activities in the unit of work include links to other resources online, such as websites and videos. We have created worksheets or other activities to complement these existing fantastic resources that are already online. So here on the screen now, you can see how viewing YouTube videos as well as exploring virtual house tours and property websites are incorporated into the unit of work. You can also see the content dot point from the syllabus, which is aligned to these activities. And that's about it for the teaching and learning activities. I'll hand back over to you, Kristen, to finish us off.
Thank you, Lauren. Before we conclude today, I'd like to point out a couple of avenues of support for the syllabus. If you haven't already completed it, the Microlearning Modern Languages K-10 syllabus from planning to practice on MyPL is an excellent introduction to the syllabus. The 90-minute support package developed for Term 2 School Development Day, which focused on the Modern Languages K-10 syllabus, is still available to access online. And don't forget, we have a statewide staff meeting in week 4 or 5 of each term. This term, the meeting is focusing on consistent teacher judgment and will be held on Tuesday, the 12th of August. There are also 11 local language networks across New South Wales where you can work closely with our team and meet your colleagues, and it's a great way to get professional learning opportunities as well. If you'd like to join your local network, please reach out to the team and we will help you find your local network leader, or you can go to the department website and decide which network best suits you. I've actually just added the link to the website in the chat if you would like to click on that link to have a look. And I think that, yeah, that's all. And finally, please feel free to contact us or any of the rest of the Languages and Culture team if you have any questions or need advice or support. We are always happy to assist. And our contact details can be found on our website. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon at the launch of the Arabic Suite of Resources.
Thanks, Kristen. And before I stop recording, I just want to give a shout out to our subject matter experts, the teacher writers who helped us throughout producing these Arabic resources. So thank you very much. It's important to put that on the recording so that they know how much we appreciate them.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I will now stop the recording. Thanks, everyone.